2001, the Bureau of Justice reported that 1 in 3 black male babies born in the United States is expected to go to jail or prison. It's a terrifying statistic, a challenging statistic, and one that requires that communities come together and begin talking honestly about the difficulties of confronting a society where mass incarceration and presumptions of guilt unfairly target some people. People of color in this country have long been burdened with the presumption of guilt, this presumption that they're dangerous, that they've done something wrong, when in fact they haven't done anything. But complaining about that presumption and fighting that presumption in the courts and in many institutions isn't all that we can do. We've also got to become smarter, more thoughtful, more prepared for meeting the challenges of being a young person of color in the 21st century. I'm excited about this meeting, this gathering, the efforts of so many that are determined to make sure that our young men and boys are not part of that statistic that goes to jail and prison. And I really have just 3 things to share. I think to meet the challenges of this century, to see our young people succeed and to thrive, to grow, to do the things that you want to do, it's important that you embrace 3 basic ideas. First, you have to be willing to believe things that you haven't seen. I'm a lawyer. I've been practicing law now for 30 years. I grew up in a poor black community, rural community, where kids like me couldn't even go to the public schools. I started my education in the colored school, and lawyers came into my community and made it possible for me to go to school. I never met a lawyer until I got to law school. And yet, by believing I could be something I'd never really seen, I was able to make that achievement. To do the things that you want to do, you may have to believe these things you haven't seen. You may have to be the first person in your family to graduate from college. You may have to be the first person to move away and do the things that you have to do, or to come back and do the things that you want to do. But believing the things that are important to you, even if you haven't seen them, is really critical. Visionaries, leaders, people who are successful all have this capacity to believe things that they have not seen. And I urge you to think about what that means for you and your goals and ambitions. Secondly, it's important that we be tactical, it's important that we be smart, it's important that you learn everything you can in school, from your mentors, from the people who care about you, from the people who are talking to you. But I'm persuaded that you actually won't achieve the things that are important. You certainly won't advance justice or achieve goals, but by just the ideas in your mind. I'm persuaded to actually achieve the things that we want you to achieve, you have to let the ideas in your mind be fueled by some conviction in your heart. It's okay to care about things. It's okay to be passionate about things. And I hope you're passionate and thoughtful and committed and engaged with both your mind and your heart for all the things that matter to you, for all the things that are important. And finally, I believe that you have to be brave. Young men of color, young people of color in this country have to be courageous. You have to sometimes be willing to stand when everybody else remains sitting. You have to sometimes be willing to speak when everybody else is quiet. And this kind of courage that I'm talking about is the courage that created the Civil Rights Movement. It is the courage that led many people to create homes and families and businesses. It is the courage that formerly enslaved people took with them to create new lives. And it's the courage that you'll need to be successful in the 21st century.